everybody thinks what a cocky sod. It all came about because I thought going somewhere different would be good for me. I'm happy and enjoying myself. I think will bring a lot more out of me now. I think will make me a better player. I think will make me a better person to be around. My dream growing up as a kid was, when I was really young, was to play for Wigan. Nothing but. And I was thinking, how good is this? I know this is unbelievably cliche, but it was like there was literally nowhere else you'd rather be.
Yes, that's the promo.
Whatever this is, yes.
Whatever this is.
This is the Big Jim Show.
On this episode of The Big Jim Show, I am joined by one of the most talked about rugby players in the world, the great Owen Farrell.
Mate, you're home.
Yeah.
Look at the smile. You seem like you're very happy, mate.
No, I'm pretty determined to be. Yeah. I'm glad to be back home, as you said. It's only been a day or so, but it's good to be back.
What about all this? The media, the hysteria.
Yeah.
Look, I know it's not you,
Yeah.
and this is kind of part of it now. And we've had a kind of few jokes when 10 years ago I was out there like interviewing the lads and stuff like that, and you were firing balls at me, and we were like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
So it's cool how it's all come back round, but like I know that this is probably the more difficult thing for you to do and put yourself out there, right?
Oh, I get it. I understand it. I think what I find with rugby especially is for me it's probably the most you need a team, your teammates within sport. I don't know. It's probably me overthinking a lot of things and not wanting to say the wrong thing at times or so on. But you always want to pay massive respects to the people around you, you know, and not putting yourself out there too much has always been my kind of way of doing it. I don't know. I've not said that right though. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
There's a few things like, it's either like you're shy or it's not the kind of the stuff that interests you, the glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
Like you are about the hard work, you always have been about getting better, like without joking, like week on week and doing that and doing them things. But this becomes like part and parcel of it. But also there's actually, like I've sat on it a little bit, there's actually quite a coolness, like there's a mystique around not doing it. So whenever you do anything or you post something or you say something, it has a much bigger impact. Instead of me waffling on all the time, and it loses its impact.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know. I've always just loved playing rugby, Jim. Like that's always been my focus, and the team massively. And I don't know whether it's because I've never always been massively comfortable doing things. I putting myself out there. I like being private, but I don't know. The longer it's gone on, the more I've been. I'm not sure, but I do understand why people want an insight. And I do understand that that's the way that things are going a lot more now. But I think rugby's such a team sport that, like sitting here and talking about myself, I was walking here talking about myself when I rely so much on 23, 22 other lads, kind of makes me feel a bit awkward, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and mate, Johnny Wilkinson was the same, right? Like he was a very quiet guy, went about his business, but it felt like it was like in a different kind of time. Do you know what I mean? And the way that kind of Johnny did things, it's like a lot of people warmed to Johnny. And I want to chat about the stuff around you where the World Cup, like especially, it built this kind of crescendo. I couldn't work it out from and at the outside looking in, the captain who's going out there as a fucking warrior, going out there blasting players and doing everything for their team. That's felt like the tipping point, was it, Matt? I don't want to go straight into that, but it felt like the tipping point. Well, it was a tipping point for you because you decided to down tools for England.
Yeah, I think with what you're saying there, I think I've not always helped myself. I've not always put myself in the best spot by not saying stuff, if you know what I mean. I think people fill that space with whatever they want to fill it, and then that kind of takes a mind of its own sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
But that's never been the bit that interests me. It's always been about the people around me, the people that I care about, the people that I'm with every day. But Yeah, no, I found it. I don't know if it all just came to, it was like perfect storm type thing. I kind of was determined to make that World Cup. It felt like it was such a good time to, and I was at a good time in my career to make the most of that. And I obviously got banned before we even left. So there was, it made it tough, and everything that came after that just kind of spiraled a little bit, I think.
Like, how bad did it get for you then, Faz, when you were going through that? Because I know you came off social media.
Yeah.
Mate, if you could say us in the media, former teammates of yours, were shocked by how it unfolded.
Yeah.
Can you share with us just how you felt?
I don't know. It just kind of. I don't know if it was an accumulation of years worth of stuff, to be honest. You know, but at that time, like, I think if I was to take every little bit as it came, I'd be able to make sense of it, no problem. But it kind of just felt like all of it put together felt a bit much, and I said that the games were actually the bit where I felt like I got away from all that and was just being myself. But sometimes I felt the weeks were tough.
Was it the booing? Like, what was the bit for you that really
There wasn't one bit that's a bit that hurt me or whatever. Or it was all of it put together, I think, and it was the place I was in to be able to deal with that, because I think if I was good with myself and I was flying, then I don't think it would have been. I don't think it'd have felt like it felt, and obviously it wasn't, and I found it tough.
And it was a big decision, right? So when that's unfolding for you to stop playing for England, mate, not only you weren't just a now and again England player, which would have been amazing, mate, you were probably the first name on the team sheet, you were a captain, you were the focal point, you were the icon of the team. But how hard was that when you said no more?
Yeah, it was obviously not an easy decision, and I was determined. I was pretty clear that after the World Cup, I needed to get back to some normality before. I didn't want to make any emotional decisions. But I thought if that's the way that I was feeling during it, then that's not the way it should be, because I don't ever want to make anybody feel like that's what it's like to play for England. It's not. Like, my time playing for England was before that, and I've loved and loved every minute of it, everything that came with it, and it should be the best time of your life. And it was that bit that it didn't feel like that. So I thought the easy thing to do would be to do nothing and just bury my head and carry on type thing. But the difficult decision felt like the right one.
Matt, I know you're very private and it's not to talk about your wife and kids and stuff like that, but I've got to chat about your dad. Fucking warrior. Like, legend of the game, mate, he's an icon. You know what I mean? The Farrell name is iconic in the sport. Like, when this is all unfolding, even if you're not looking at it, but you're feeling it, mate, he's there watching it. He's there, he's in the stands. Yeah. You know, as a coach, but also as your dad. Like, what's he saying to you about it all?
No, well, I obviously speak to him constantly. Like, my dad he'd be the first person I'd go to, you know. I'm very lucky that I've got the people that I've got around me when I've been not in the best place, let's say. Like, I've got a great support network around me. I've got great people that give me some brilliant advice and guidance. So I've been very lucky in that sense, and obviously my family's right up there in that.
Yeah. What kind of stuff does your dad say? Can you share us just a couple of bits?
It's constant, mate. Like, it's not. There's no one big secret answer. Like, I guess a lot of it is bringing balance to situations when you're stressed or worried about something overly. Like, my dad's obviously got great experience in all them areas from before, and still going on, and it kind of just brings a bit of perspective to what's going on and brings you back down to where you should be. That's why I'd be on the phone to him a fair bit when stuff like that would be going on now.
Mate, he was a legend and a warrior of the game, rugby league. So when you're younger and you're growing up, like, is he making you smash him? Is that why you're going around smoking people? Was that through your dad?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. And I was going down to training when it was I don't know what age, you know. I was around. Obviously, my dad was kicking balls back for him after when he was kicking goals. But I was around that team as well, that Wigan team, which was obviously very, very, very successful at that point. So who knows what I took in? Who knows what subconsciously came in? But like, obviously, my background being nothing but rugby league, to be honest, has had a big impact on me as well.
Is there a part of you that wishes you played a bit of league?
There's a curiosity there, yeah.
Were you close to going? Because there were rumours of that might maybe happening.
Like my dream growing up as a kid was, when I was really young, was to play for Wigan, nothing but. And grew up in Wigan, all my family's from Wigan, and I've grown up watching Wigan lift trophies, and my family's ingrained in that club as well. So that was always my dream. Yeah.
Close to going before Racing or not? There were rumours, right?
Yeah, there was some conversation, yeah, and it didn't quite happen. But it's an unbelievable club.
I imagine that someone that doesn't have like regrets, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, before you signed for Racing '92, you know it's going to be like a tough club to kind of infiltrate the expectation. Jackie Lorenzetti has a few things to say for himself as well. With Johnny Sexton going there, and I know the Sia fallout was kind of when you were there as well. Did you research it before you went? Did you know how tough it was going to be? Was it the challenge that excited you, or was it just to get away?
It all came about because I thought going somewhere different would be good for me. And the club here were brilliant with me at that time. I'm really understanding and supportive, as you'd expect from a place like this. And then obviously spoke to Racing, and it seemed to fit really well. It was away from home, but close to home at the same time. For family to come across things, and there was so much potential there at the club, and obviously still there's that there now. Stuart was there, Bobby was there, running the strength and conditioning, and there's all the players that you like want to play with at the same time. And obviously it's not been the best of years, but obviously there's still a lot of potential there.
Yeah. What do you think you learned most about being there?
Culturally, it was very different. I enjoyed my time there, and I have no regrets for doing it. I think I'm better off for doing it, because there's obviously a lot of time out there, especially being injured. Like you spend reflecting on yourself. But I'm glad my family's had that experience, and I think like being somewhere where they do things differently has been good for me as well.
What about the comments that Jackie made? He was saying that Sia, I don't know if he said he was fat, but he was talking about him eating too many baguettes and like challenging him basically. And he said something about you being a snail when you came back from injury. Like, you'd never had that before. Like, I know we kind of like smile and laugh about it, but that's a different thing for someone like you to take. Did you absorb that?
No, mine wasn't too bad. Like he said I think he said I was slower than a snail going backwards. But it was more around the fact that I'd come back a bit early from my injury.
Yeah, but how were you when you saw this? So we are joking about it. We can joke about it.
Oh well, it's the same with every article. You have to read the whole thing rather than just take the snippet. So he was actually fairly positive and supportive in that regard. But yeah, obviously everyone just takes that little snippet from it.
Oh, it's not. It is what it is. I'll be happy with someone calling me that. But what about learning French and all of that stuff?
Yeah.
Did you buy into that?
I tried to. It was. Please don't put me on the spot now. But I tried to. it was difficult. As I said, the bit with knowing a lot of people when you go there is that there's obviously quite a few English people there at the same time. We had our lessons once a week, and I got my own lessons as well before I went and during my time there. But I got to a stage where I was happy to make mistakes and be laughed at and so on. But it was difficult to pick up, when some lads are speaking quickly and having conversations in the changing room. I wasn't quite there. But I had a good go.
But that must have been hard for you, because I know you like to be in control. You want to be 100% at everything. If you're there as the 10, controlling everything, and you can't speak the language, and you're picking up the injuries and stuff like that. Like on a man level, like a personal level, how was that?
It was also like quite good for me in a way, I think, as well. Is that I couldn't just speak all the time. I was integrating myself into a new place, so I was trying to listen a lot more. And when I did have something to say, a small bit to say, I'd have to make sure it was really precise. So I'd have to take all the fluff away from it. Maybe I don't know, the bits around it. You have to be really simple, which I think is a good lesson, really, in some regards. So I didn't see that as a massive negative, but and also a lot of the lads there spoke really good English over the years that they've had. They've obviously had some great tens there before as well. So no, I actually liked having to sift through what I'd normally say and not speak as much.
Just say 3 lines. I'm trying to think of 3 rugby specific. Placage. What else? What were the other ones? Vite, Fatigue, that was another one. Melee, fuck that, God knows.
Are you sure, French?
Poor. I just used to say fatigue every day, which means tired, by the way, if you don't know what it means. Sia Khaleesi, so you were with him at the start.
No, he was away with South Africa.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, so before you got there, you went and met him in Paris, didn't you? Or
he came over to London a couple of times as well. I saw him when I was doing my medical and stuff, and he came over to London a few times, and I met him. He came around to our race.
Yeah, that's got. I mean, actually, when the news broke of you signing, I was with Sia in Racing '92, and he was speaking really highly of you, and like couldn't wait to have you there. And you think he's an icon of South Africa, treated very differently to you, by the way, as we know in his country. But he's a big fan of yours. Like, what was it like spending time with him and people from different cultures and countries?
I didn't actually get to spend too much time with him, but I'd say I've got to know him a bit more over the last year or so. So that obviously great. He's obviously Sia's massive. Like everybody knows who he is, and everybody knows what he's like, and how nice a fella he is. So it was good. It's good to get to know him as well. Like, but Racing was very multicultural, and no, it was good. It was a good experience. There's obviously some unbelievable players there that I'm grateful for playing together with. So it was good.
Did you pick up anything in the French with the psyche of how they play? Because let's be honest, not that they're leading the charge, because we know, like the World Cup they didn't win, but the Six Nations they're good. But the style of rugby that they play, like you've gone there, I can say it, can be quite unprofessional at times, and they're quite Latino and chaotic. But that's what makes them good. Was there anything that you picked up where you're like, I can see why they're so good at rugby? My little boy played for the underage there, and obviously he's still too young, but you can see the way that they grow up playing is they move the ball really well, offloading constantly. Like something can happen like that, and that's the way that the games go. Sometimes it's like every game's a battle in the top 14, and someone kind of comes up with something and breaks the game open. The set piece game, then followed by the individual brilliance, opens up the games for you. Like, and you see how much of an impact them top players have on them games over there. Yeah. You know, when you're going through your injuries and stuff, when you're over there and you're out with the bubble that you've been in all your life, is there things that like you think about how you're going to go on to the next stage of your career, like managing your body, like how you're going to play? Like these things are natural, right? I was here at the end of my career. You saw the state of me. I couldn't even touch my knees. But you find a way of adapting and, you know, changing your mindset and stuff. Because that's the first time that's ever happened. I know you had a couple of injuries throughout your career, but there you had a few, didn't you?
When I came back from injury and I still wasn't right, I then had some more time off and went to Doha to see a groin specialist called Enda King, and he gave me loads of confidence in my body again, and that it'll like when it goes on for that long, you kind of start thinking, is this just me now? Is this just as I'm obviously getting a bit older or anything like that? But he gave me loads of confidence in my body again.
Yeah, so you're having an issue with kicking. So it was, I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but it was an issue with your joint.
It was my pubis. It was an overload thing on my pubis. I think it's called pubis symphysis here.
You didn't have an injection in that, did you?
I did, yeah.
My mate Deeks, who coaches Leicester,
Yeah.
he had one up through the gooch.
Yeah.
And did yours go up?
No, above there.
Mate, was it sore?
Straight in. Can't remember it. Can't remember it now.
Hey, in Northern, he ain't feeling it. My mate Deeks is absolutely screaming. He thinks he's a hard man. But that's gnarly.
Yeah, I didn't go underneath though.
Okay, I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did. I think he's saying that he did. But you know, mate, that's what I mean. Like people don't realise what players go through. Like, mate, to have an injection into your tendon, just inside there, I don't even think people would think there'd be a tendon in between your pelvis. That's pretty gnarly.
When you're injured, you'll know what it's like. You're with the team, but you're not, aren't you? You're a bit isolated, and when you're trying to throw yourself into something new, that's tough. And then you go home and you sit there and you have to sit with yourself, don't you? You sit with your own thoughts, sit with everything that's going through your head. And I think dealing with that and having to do that and having a lot of time to reflect has just made me clearer on how I want to be, what I want out of this, out of the future, and excited about the opportunity of what can happen, I think.
Can you share some of them things of like the clarity that you've had? Because I should say, mate, it's class to have you back at Saracens. I mean, but more so like the England, the Prem, like all of these things. Like it's a big moment.
Yeah.
So what kind of things are you wanting to come back with?
Oh, I'm desperate to enjoy myself. I'm desperate to make the most of it, and I think I've always thought cause I've always been someone who's just done more or worked harder or fought against everything that's come my way, and I think like now doing stuff with a bit more ease, with a bit more enjoyment, with a bit more like get back to looking after myself and making sure that I'm happy and enjoying myself, I think will bring a lot more out of me now. I think will make me a better player. I think will make me a better person to be around, and I'm desperate to get to that as quick as possible.
When you play for England, just give the people an idea of what it's like captaining your country. Be more specific, actually. I'm going to be more specific because the iconic image of you is facing the haka with that wry smile.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the one that when it might be up on your wall, it might be up on my wall in the studio, I don't know. But that's the image of Owen Farrell, right? That and the tackle on Andre Esterhuizen, and there's a million more, but that's the image, right, of you when you face the haka. Take me to that moment, what it's like.
No, well, obviously everybody thinks what a cocky sod, smirking at the thing, and they turn it into whatever they want it to be like. But
so that's what you think people think when they see that?
I think some do, yeah. I think some do. But from my point of view, I was stood there in a World Cup semi-final, and we just surrounded them a little bit, and the crowd went ballistic. And I was thinking, how good is this? I know this is unbelievably cliche, but it was like there was literally nowhere else you'd rather be. at that moment in time, and what was coming up, and the unknown of how the game was going to go. Well, it just it couldn't have got better.
What's Owen Farrell thinking? Are you thinking control, tactics, or are you thinking fucking smash someone? Like genuine, what if you were to give? I know there's a load of different emotions, but if you can give me one.
What when? What do you mean?
You know, like when you're at that heightened emotion of
Yeah.
being in front of the hacker, or it's
Yeah.
about to kick off, because you've got so many skill sets, right? You've got to kick a goal, you've got to all these things,
Yeah.
and you've got to be in the moments of pressure. But you're known for smashing people as well,
Yeah.
with all these other things. So talk me through, like, what's your headspace like when you're in that biggest moment and
No,
you're up in a final?
When you get to them games, I don't know. There's something. I don't know why. There's something like relaxing about walking out to that, because there's nothing to do. There's nothing to, like, you don't have to get yourself up. You don't have to psych yourself up. And that's never been a problem of mine anyway. Mine has more so been to come down rather than to build up. But when you're just walking out and you know everybody's on the same page as you because it's a World Cup semi-final, and the unknown of how the game's going to start or go or anything, and then that puts me in the space of, like, how good's this?
Are you at most peace in that moment? Is that like you when you are at your most complete, alive, I called it?
Present, probably, yeah. Yeah, because I'm not trying to think about when it's at its best and stuff. I'm not thinking anything. Not thinking about what's going to happen after the kick-off. Not going to think about how I've got to get into the game or what. You're just thinking, can't wait. I guess that's the place that you want to be in them situations.
Yeah. And what's your favourite thing? Is it a kick at goal last minute, or is it putting someone into next week? What makes you the happiest?
I don't know. I love it all, Jim. Like, there's not one bit that I pick out. Like, you're talking about the physicality of the game. Like, I've always loved that. Especially as a 10, like, enjoyed people trying to pick you out.
Yeah.
And obviously there's other parts of the game that I love as well. But putting it all together is the best thing for me. Being able to be as hard as you can on the defensive side of games, but also have the calmness and the control to see what's going on in attack as well. So, like, I've obviously not always got that right, but when you feel at your best, I guess it's just being present in them, yeah.
If you could only have one though, so say like you kick in, you couldn't kick, right, or you couldn't tackle, how you do? Which one? Which one's more important to you? You got to choose one.
I don't know. I can't, because kicking, I love, like, I kick nearly every day, or well, not every day, but you know what I mean, every day of your life, because I love it. But tacklings and getting stuck in is such a great part of rugby, like, you know. So you can't take one away from me.
And we won't. I won't. How much do the fans mean to you?
I appreciate them massively. Like, I obviously love the atmospheres that I've played in. I've loved the atmospheres that have been created around you, and that's all down to the people that turn up. And that's good and bad. Like, playing in some of the places where the atmosphere is against you is awesome as well, you know. And you can feel it. And I think England's usually been pretty good at getting behind people when it comes to big tournaments, especially the teams. It's massive. You can feel the sport when it's there, and you can feel the momentum that gets behind you. And yeah, when it's like that, you appreciate it.
If the kids ask you when you get older and you're done and it has been, it's all said and done, and they say to you, what was it like playing for England? I've got that question from my kids. They ask me like, naturally. I'm like,
What did you say?
I said, I didn't play for England. Should have. What do you say? Like, I know that's a quick, because they've not asked you the question. What was it like playing for England? When you're doing that, you're leading out your country. Can you give us a kind of just a sense of how it felt for you?
I loved it. I always loved every bit of it. I always loved going into camp. I always loved being around the best players from the Premiership. I always loved how intense camp was, how intense the Six Nations was, and everything that came with it. Like, it was never like going away and stuff. Although, like, even with a young family towards the end, going away was never a sacrifice to me, you know, because I loved being involved with that team and playing for England.
And you want to play for England again?
I'm determined to get myself into a good place, and that be the starting point. I know that this is the place to do that at Saracens, and that's my whole focus at the minute. And who knows the timeline on that, and when I do, who knows?
Yeah. If your dad rings you.
It's all very hypothetical.
I know it's hypothetical. I know, but it could well happen.
Again, it's same message. My only point is, what am I doing now to make myself feel the best I can possibly feel, and then if something comes up, we'll see.
And then just a few things on this club here. Again, it felt weird that you left. It feels right that you've come back.
You said it wasn't.
What did I say?
You said it wasn't.
Which bit?
You said
You go to Leicester?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I said that on purpose because I knew you were coming back. So I was like, yeah, he's going to Leicester, he's a better fit there.
Someone told me that.
Yeah, no, I thought you were going to go to Leicester. I knew you were coming here, so I had to kind of like push them away. I got some shit about it yesterday as well. Only one club for you to come back to, eh?
Yeah.
It feels right.
Yeah.
I saw you smiling from ear to ear when you put the jersey back on.
It's home, Jim. Like, this is the club I love, and it's the best place. It's the best place for me, I think, and hopefully that in turn, when I get myself in a good place, I have a good impact on the people around us as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck in again.
Yeah, and doing more media.
Yeah.
Mad for it. I didn't know where this was going to go. You gave me everything, which was cool. But if we were to say for the kids and for the South Africans and All Blacks and Australians, if it is one of them, toughest player you played against?
I think the one that probably sticks out in my head at the minute is Peter Steff. The impact that he has on a game, and the influence he does by how hard he works and how hard he hits and hounds people, I think has been a massive weapon for South Africa for a long time now, and he probably sticks out.
Who's the best in the game at the minute?
Again, hard to pick. Like, there's individual brilliance in DuPont and Ardie Savea, they're awesome players. I love people who make teams tick me. I love watching Gibson Park, and the way that he brings everybody into the game and constantly making good decisions. People like that is what I'm drawn to. I think more than I appreciate massively the individual brilliance, but I've got a massive appreciation for people who make everybody else look good as well.
Class. Done.